quite frankly, how many times have we been here before? I think you and I have had this very interview
several
times.
There.
It's exactly the same as Rwanda, isn't it? The scheme to deport people against their will to a different country. You know, they have these headlines. Oh, people won't like you, but we're going to crack down on it. What happens? Nothing happens. Situation usually gets worse. Why? Because they don't tackle the real problem, which is criminal gangs exploiting people. They go for the people being exploited rather than the criminal gangs behind it. And they do not sort out the core of the issue, which is they don't process asylum claims with any kind of timely readiness. I mean, I think 2% of the claims lodged last year currently being processed for Albanian people arriving from Albania, 1%. That's not good enough. And I just wish the one thing they never threaten us with is competent government. You know, they don't threaten us with actually tackling the issue. And until they do that, I feel we'll be in this cycle maybe forever, till this government ends.
I think I'm right in saying the highest number ever of migrants who were claiming asylum in the United Kingdom was under a Labour government.
Yes, but we processed the claims, and where people haven't got a legitimate right to be in the UK, they're made to leave the UK. And where people do have that right, because the claims have been processed and we found that, then of course it's right to offer those people support.
It took a period of several years for you to get there.
Well, let's be clear, the asylum system worked much, much better under the last Labour government than what we have seen. I mean, I understand that the amount of claims being processed by the Home Office is a fraction of the system that they inherited. And I think until they tackle that issue, this is what we will see. We'll just see this story over and over again, rather than tackling the things that would actually make a difference. And that's got to be serious law enforcement against the criminal gangs. They are the people exploiting people, and that is what has to happen.
Would you support the use of disused cruise ships and disused military camps in order to house people like this?
Oh, the crucial thing is that the system should work, so there isn't a need to house people in any sort of hotels or
more of a
military
yes or no question, really.
Well, quite right. If that's being used as a threat, as a punitive threat, rather than an effective system to actually work out who should be in the UK and who shouldn't be, I'd have some concerns about that. But until the government recognise that what you need is a system where, first of all, you can return people who shouldn't be in the UK, there's no point threatening people with anything, because what they end up doing is putting people in hotels at huge cost, and this would be a cost as well if this is part of it. They've got to tackle the real issues rather than this cycle of threatening punitive measures against people who are in themselves very vulnerable and never getting to the bottom of it. And frankly, 3 months, 6 months, we'll be again here having this interview and they'll have come up with some other idea to get the front pages, but they won't have tackled the problem.
OK, Sue Gray. A lot of my viewers this morning will be saying, who is she? We know who she is because she brought down the Prime Minister. Obviously, he was hoisted by his own petard, but her report did not help. And now she's potentially going to be the Chief of Staff for the next Prime Minister. Smells a bit fishy to some.
Oh, I don't think it does. I think, first of all, we in the Labour Party take our responsibility very seriously. That's to prepare as best we can for the next election and the chance to replace the government. We take nothing for granted. We want the best people working for us. Now, Boris Johnson was brought down by Boris Johnson and his own behaviour. Nobody else is to blame. Sue Gray wasn't even the first person asked to do this inquiry, if we remember. The first person asked to do it had to recuse themselves because they'd been at the parties they were supposed to be investigating. So I don't accept any of that. I understand there are legitimate questions and interest in the timing and the process of that because of the high-profile nature of that report. Okay, in time, all of that will be in the public domain. But what we're trying to do at the minute is respect the process. It's quite common for civil servants to take other jobs. We've got to respect that process. That's this ACOBA committee which looks into these appointments and decides what the right way
explain the
forward is.
Advisory Committee of Business Appointments. And it is meant to provide advice before a job is accepted. Apparently, ACOBA has not received a request for advice yet.
Well, all of that will be in the public domain in time.
Well,
we are trying to respect this process. We didn't put this information in the public domain. It wasn't the Labour Party that was responsible.
No, it was an exclusive by Sky News.
Well, exactly. You've got very good journalists here. And sometimes you find things out that, you know...
You didn't want us to know?
Well...
you were going to say you didn't want us to know then.
We wanted to follow the process, as you've correctly said, whereby if you're recruiting somebody of a rank, of a position in the civil service like this, that is done before it would ideally be in the public domain. That's the correct process. We're trying to respect that. We understand the interest in it. This is an extremely capable,
Do you not think
huge
there's
reputation.
A public interest?
I think there's a public interest, but we're trying to follow... Exactly, we're trying to follow that process that exists. And this will all be in the public domain in time. But quite frankly, this is simply about the Labour Party trying to attract the best people to work for us, and any Conservative trying to, you know, run away from their own responsibilities as to what their government did, what their responsibility.
She's a left-leaning civil servant, obviously, because she wants to work for the Labour Party now, and she brought brought down a Conservative Prime Minister.
She didn't bring down a Conservative Prime Minister.
Well, she was involved in a report that brought him down.
She did not smuggle suitcases of alcohol into Downing
that was the
Street
line
while
that
the rest
was used yesterday by your colleague.
I don't know
what
Sue Gray
happened?
personally. I hear incredibly good things about her for her professionalism, for her integrity, for her competence. Of course, we want to build this coalition of everybody who wants better for this country than they've had for the last 13 years under this government. We want to attract the best people to work for us, to take that seriously, and we'll follow the right process to get those people.
When did she first start talking to your leader?
That will all be in the public domain in time. It'll all be in the public domain in time, but that is not for me to get. I'm not going to get into the time frame because that
means you do know.
That wouldn't respect the process.
Because Wes Streeting was sat there yesterday. He didn't know.
Well, it's not about what people individually know or don't.
You're closer to the leader, obviously.
No, well, I wouldn't say that. I think we're all a team in the Shadow Cabinet working together. But fundamentally, this is about us trying to respect a process which exists. It will not reflect well on us if we put into the public domain information which a COBA wants and asks to follow in the usual way. And that's all this is. And I think any Conservative MP just can't accept that this is not about them, this is just about the Labour Party trying to attract the best people.
What if she can't accept the job for 2 years because she's prevented from doing that? It potentially up to 2 years, she could be told that she can't have the job and then she can take it. Too late then, because you're already potentially in number 10. A lot of potentials there, wasn't there?
We take nothing for granted, and I'm not going to second-guess the decisions that they make. We've tried to attract the best people. We think we've got someone here who is of the calibre this country needs in a position of responsibility. We'll follow the correct process to make that appointment if it proceeds in the way that we want it to be.
OK, it's good to see you as always.
Thanks so
very
much
indeed. Thanks a lot.